What's up, guys? Your boy is back, and today we're starting a new series that I'm going to call The Meta Report. And basically, in this series, we're going to be covering various people that have done really well at a tournament, and we're just going to cover the last tournament, Collinsville, and we're going to be talking about the guy that actually won the tournament, Andrew Ding, and we'll be going over his everything. He had a little interview, and I just kind of want to talk about how encouraging it was to read this, especially as a Christian, to hear someone else step out in their faith in this community, and just recognizing that part of his life within also the Pokemon's competitive community as well. So I don't have the ability to show my face and also scroll on this, so I'm about to just switch on over here real quick. So let's look at this. All right, so we're on Victory Road here, and we're basically just going to go over here on Andrew Ding's team report here. So it says, "Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Ding, and I'm here to share a bit about my Collinsville event experience and talk about the team that got me first at one of North America's most stacked regionals. A bit about myself. I'm a pretty new player, as I started playing VGC late September, the same time as me. So this guy's like literally been playing the exact same amount of VGC as I have. So his first VGC event ever was in September 2019, the Atlantic City Regionals. He had never even been to a local before. Okay, so I've only been to one local. I've never been to a big tournament. So we're very similar here, where he finished 5th. So that's pretty impressive. His first tournament ever, and it was a regional. He finished 5th. Since then, I've had consistent high placings at regional plus events and received my invite within 1.5 months in November. I want to get a day 2 invite this season, and my ultimate goal is to win Worlds." So this guy's on the right path. We're just going to kind of talk about, before we get in the team, we'll talk about the team as well. I kind of just want to go into this part that really just encouraged me as not only a competitive player but a Christian. So here's his where he talked about before the event. "This tournament was actually important to me for an additional reason before the event. I was feeling pretty weary from all the traveling I was doing and the day 2 race, and thinking about dropping out, as he already had his invite, and just chilling until Worlds, and then just quitting and not playing the next season. He said, I know this might sound crazy to those who aren't Christian or religious, but because of how I was feeling, I wanted to surrender this event to God, and I asked God to use this event to show me whether He wanted me to continue playing VGC or to just quit. And after a lot of prayer, I went to this event with the mindset of, if I don't do well, then I'll make that as a sign that He doesn't want me to continue VGC, and I would be obedient in that. But if I did, well then I just take that as a sign of Him having a purpose for me to continue this. This actually helped me be calm the entire event, as I was truly okay with whatever the result was. Anyway, the fact that I ended up not just doing well, but actually winning, was just deep confirmation to me that there is a reason for me to keep going to events and competing. And I hope to use this for His glory, not mine. I think as Christians, our ultimate mission is to glorify Him in everything we do, including VGC. And that was and is the mindset I will have forever. Needless to say, I could not have done this without Him. Again, I understand this might sound super insane if you have never had a similar background, but if anyone does ever want to chat about this or Jesus, I would love to." So that right there, I just stumbled across this last night, and I was like, wow, how incredible of a thing to read, especially as a Christian myself. It really encouraged me to stand out in my faith as well. And I haven't made that a direct thing in my channel. And so, because it's always, we should never feel awkward about our faith as Christians. And I want to make the same stand as him. I want to make sure that I glorify God in everything I do, and especially VGC, where he is he's not glorified much or close to it all. So it was very encouraging to see Andrew Ding stand up for his faith here, and let's go ahead and continue on to the team he has here. So he used Gothitelle, Shadow Tag ability, and you can see the EV spread right here, the nature and the moveset. And he said, it's really hard to pick a Pokemon that's the most important for this team. Durant, I'm just saying. But Gothitelle is a huge reason why the team can win games, and is very good at enabling both Tyranitar and Durant. I swapped out Helping Hand for Ally Switch. Justin was different from Justin's Gothitelle. He was the guy that helped him build the team, which was a really hard decision, but ultimately I think Ally Switch wins more games than Helping Hand, as it can turn really dire situations into a 50-50. Very true. Depending on your playstyle, either one would be great, in my opinion. Honestly, I never missed Helping Hand during the event, and Psychic is extremely important, as I had many situations in the endgame where it was Goth versus something, 1v1, like a Mudsdale, etc., and I won. Fake Out and Trick Room are obviously non-negotiable, especially in the current meta. I totally agree with that. So it came down to Helping Hand versus Ally Switch, and my gut told me to pick Ally Switch, for the reasons stated above, even though I only clicked it once during all of Top Cut. It allowed me to win few of my Swiss rounds. Kasib is correct over Colbur in my opinion, because only Ghost types are comfortable with Shadow Tag up. And we aren't running a Hypnosis version, so Sash doesn't seem correct here. I agree with him everything on that. I would have went with the Ally Switch as well. I think it kind of just gives you that little bit of dice roll, and it can really confuse your opponent, especially if they're not up. You can really throw your opponent for a loop and really win a game off that move alone. So Gothitelle is really the glue to this team, and we'll talk about Milotic here. You can see EVs and nature, everything here. Honestly, I don't even think Milotic is good, despite how finals went. It just feels super clunky to use, and Rotom Wash would be a better water type most of the time. I agree with him here, actually. He does. Milotic feels very clunky. That said, it is one of the only Pokemon in the format, maybe the only one, that can truly 1v4 if put in the right situation against the right team. The other 90% of the time, though, it's just dead weight, and I'd rather bring a different Pokemon. I usually only brought it if I saw in Team Preview it had a potential to 1v4, such as teams that only had physical carries, or if I saw a Corviknight, as Corviknight is extremely difficult for the team to deal with without Milotic. Arcanine is good, but not good enough usually. Justin's Milotic had a Protect and Ice Beam, and there were definitely times where I missed Ice Beam. Never really Protect. But every move here is essential to allow Milotic to be the 1v4 carry it can be. If you combine Coils with Durant max moves, it will do its job. Okay, so that's Milotic there. I agree with everything he said here. And let's see. We got Tyranitar. You can see all the good stuff there. He said this was his favorite Pokemon on the team. There's not really too much to say about Tyranitar. It's going to be one of your 2 Dynamax Pokemon, and it complements Durant very well, as it usually is good versus things that are potentially good versus Durant, aka Charizard, Togekiss, Special Water Pokemon in general, Scarf Hydreigon, and Arcanine. One play I would make often is to lead Gothitelle and Durant and then switch to Tyranitar turn 1 while clicking Trick Room. If both of their leads were weak to Tyranitar, such as Arcanine plus something or Rotom Wash plus Togekiss, I especially love doing it versus Arcanine because they're forced to max Arcanine, usually a non-optimal Dynamax choice, in the face of Durant, as regular Arcanine dies to max Quake, and then they spend a turn max flaring your Tyranitar while you get up Trick Room. Tyranitar also works well outside of Dynamax, and in Dynamax virtually nothing can kill it. It's just so good. Didn't make any changes to Tyranitar from Justin's version. Yeah, very strong Pokemon. I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I'm just going to kind of keep it clean to what he said, because he's a much better Tyranitar player than me, considering I play very little of Tyranitar. And let's talk about Durant here. You can give a look at all his good stuff up there. In hindsight, this Durant's EV spread plus move pool combination was extremely stupid, as 188 speed EVs plus Jolly allows it to outspeed Charizard, but took off Max Rockfall. I see. No kill for the Charizard there. I think the move pool is 100% correct, as we have a Tyranitar on the team with Gothitelle, So just use those instead of Durant against Charizard teams. And for the EVs, I would just either go max attack and max speed, or set its speed to hit 163 and put the rest in special defense bulk. As for Durant itself, everyone knows what it does by now. It hits like a truck with hustle and life orb, and combined with Gothitelle, you punish leads extremely hard if they guess incorrectly, or whether you will lead Tyranitar or Durant. Unlike Tyranitar, it's pretty bad outside of Dynamax. So if you do the play I mentioned above of bringing both Durant plus Tyranitar and Dynamaxing Tyranitar, play as if you have like 3.5 Pokemon. So yeah, basically outside of Dynamax, this thing does kind of tank a little bit, considering you have 80% accuracy on everything you use because of your ability. Let's talk about Arcanine here. Arcanine is a support Pokemon that can also provide a decent amount of offensive pressure when necessary, like Gothitelle. Intimidate plus Snarl lets you weaken both sides of the game, except against Milotic, obviously. And Will-O-Wisp and Protector are both pretty standard. Honestly, the entire Pokemon here is pretty standard, from the item to the EV spread to the move pool. You want to outspeed Excadrill, obviously, blah blah blah. Really, the only thing I think worth bringing up is the decision of special versus physical Arcanine. Personally, I think Flare Blitz is much better than both Flamethrower and Heat Wave, as it allows you to proc your own berry, as I did versus Wolf in the finals. It can't miss, and it actually feels like you're doing damage when you use it. Flamethrower doesn't even kill normal bulkless Excadrill. This is also the same as Arcanine as Justin's versions. And the final piece, the Sylveon. What an annoying Pokemon, am I right? So, Sylveon, the glue that holds the team together. In VGC 2020, it is important to recognize Pokemon that are better non-Dynamaxed than Dynamaxed. Very true. There's a lot of Pokemon out there that people should not be Dynamaxing. This is one of them. And Sylveon is one of the best candidates of this. Other Pokemon typically good at this are those who have priority moves such as Conkeldurr, or status moves that are critical to their kit. If I bring Tyranitar, I always bring Sylveon in the same game, as it covers Conkeldurr and any other fighting type that would stop Tyranitar from destroying the rest of the team. I almost never lead it because it is very good at cleaning up from the back, but I did versus Benji in Game 1 because I knew he would lead Seismitoad and I wanted to yawn it. However, outside of very specific use cases, just bring it in the back and let Hyper Voice carry you. I changed it from Throat Spray to Pixie Plate because it's just better. Quick Attack won me many games throughout the entire event, and so did Yawn. You don't need Mystical Fire or Hyper Beam. Okay, so we'll kind of clean it up here. So, that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed today's team review, please leave me a like, a comment, a sub, and I'll continue doing this series as we go on. Maybe once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, twice a month, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna try to keep doing this because it gives us a more in-depth review of what these players' or thought processes are, and it's just good to get into other people's thought processes because, I ain't the only big brain out there, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what to do. Throw them down there in the comments, do all that good stuff down there. And as always, guys, God bless. Peace.